how we do it. I might need to chill a whole. Let me take the audio off. Make sure the audio doesn't come in crazy. Hopefully this audio is coming in clear. Listen, I hope you've been taking good care of yourself, stacking wins, staying healthy, staying on your purpose, and all that good stuff. I'm about to be dropping crazy types of content on my page. I hope that you're going to be able to resonate with it. As I figure out who you are as my audience, it's becoming very apparent to me that yes, we need to man up. Yes, we need to be leveling up as men and becoming strong and disciplined and all that good stuff. But some of you really don't understand the basic principles of manifestation, the laws of the universe, energy. So I'm looking to kind of blend all that into this. And I also care about you so much so that, being said, I want to consider what type of content you really want from me. I've been thinking about getting a whiteboard so I can give you stuff via scripts, and I can write things down and really illustrate to you. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd be interested in. Should I get a whiteboard, or do you like the videos that are just like this? Anyways, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about building momentum to manifest. Okay? The momentum of manifestation. What does that mean? Okay, let me break this down for you. Okay? You're probably in a situation, especially because you're watching this video, I would imagine that that you're not exactly happy with. You're working at a job you don't like, you're in a relationship that you don't like, or you're single and you want a relationship, or you're broke financially, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, you're kind of just shaky. Maybe you're not happy with your surroundings, maybe you're not content, maybe you're looking to have that breakthrough to the next level. But you're struggling. You're struggling to get started, and once you get started, you're losing momentum. So you end up going back to where you were. It's like taking 10 steps forward and 20 steps back. So I want to show you and teach you and tell you how to build your momentum for manifestation so that you don't end up defaulting back to your old patterns, defaulting back to your old ways and your old self, right? Your old version of yourself, because that's really what you're here for. You're looking to tap in and unlock the best version of yourself, right? So what we don't understand, what many people don't understand, growing up, because we weren't taught this, is that we need to really look at the life that we're living in terms of sound, frequency, and vibration. I just dropped a video about that recently. It's something about, the title's like how to stop living in hell and start living in heaven on earth. Go watch that video. It's on my live video. Also, I only go live. I don't really post and upload content like traditional YouTubers, just because these lives go straight to they just go up quicker. It takes mad long to upload for some reason. I'll do a video and it takes freaking a whole day to upload it. So hopefully you're going through all my live videos, because that's where you're going to find all the content. Anyways, I really want you to understand that in order for you to become the best version of you, the next version of you, the best version of you, the desired version of you, we call it, right? With the new this, the new that, the better this, the better that, there's going to be certain things that you need to implement into your day-to-day. Because let's face it, if you knew better, you do better. So whatever you're doing is not working. Whatever you're doing is not going to get you to that next level. You need to start changing up your habits, changing up your disciplines, changing the way you think, changing the way you see the world, see yourself, your speech. Everything needs to start to shift and change and towards the desired version of you, the desired outcome of you. And what happens is, because you're so comfortable, you're so used to being who you are, you're so used to the current situation that you're in, it's hard for you to break through that. It's difficult for your new desired self to manifest, because your entity, the energy, the frequency that which you're so comfortable with is just so strong. So how do we break through? How do we break through to manifest the momentum and manifest the better version of us, right? How do we start, and then how do we build that momentum towards the manifestation? The first thing you need to do is meditate. Now, I'm not talking about some spiritual goofy shit where you sit down and go, ooh, you don't need to do all that. But you really do need to get still, get to a place of silence, close out the outer world for a minute. And you don't need to sit around like a monk, okay? You can meditate for 5, 10, 20, 15 minutes a day, somewhere in that range, 30 minutes a day. It doesn't matter, but you really just need to find that time to really take a moment, do the introspective work, and quiet your thoughts. Because right now, you think you are your thoughts. I'm going to say that again. Write this down. And if you're not taking notes, if you're not dropping your notes in the comments, I don't know what you're here for. I'm not here to just give you entertainment. I'm not here to give you content to make you feel good and stuff like that. I really want this information in the videos that I give you to be practically applied. So the things I tell you, you can use in your real life, in your real business, in your real day-to-day, in your real relationships. And I really want this information to stick with you. So drop the notes in the comments. If you're not dropping notes, if you're not taking notes, I don't know what you're here for. You might as well just, I don't know. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe because the real ones already know what time it is. But the whole point is you need to meditate. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to meditate. Find a time to get still, get quiet, and just observe your thoughts. And understand that, again, you are not your thoughts. Okay? You are not your thoughts. What does that mean? It means that a lot of the thoughts we have are just random. They're not even really true. They're not even something that you would subscribe to, right? Some of the thoughts we have are just wild. So take a moment every day to meditate so that you can observe your thoughts. And just don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself when they're happening. Just observe the thought, see it for what it is, find stillness, and find peace in that moment. Because what we're doing while we meditate, what you're doing while you meditate is effectively observing your ego. You're detaching from your ego. Your ego is kind of the lower fleshly nature of you. The me, the I, the flesh that you're probably often addicted to. The temptations, the vices, the music, the hip trends, all the stuff that happens in the world right now that you see is really thriving, or should I say, is serving and catering to your ego. But what we need to do is we need to break our ego. We need to shatter our ego to an extent. Why? Because the current version of you is not who you'll be. So there's some truth to be found there. There's some confrontation that needs to be made there. There's some disintegration that needs to be made there. Because until you can truly look at your ego and understand that you are not your ego, you are a higher enlightened version of being. You are essentially Christ consciousness. You're essentially an extension of God, the extension of the universe. Until you realize that, you're going to only identify with your ego. And your ego is really not you. This is more like a protective barrier. It's more like a protective measurement. It's more like it's like a guard. It's a constructed version of you that you believe. And remember, a belief is just something that you think repetitively. I'm going to say that one more time because that was a bar. A belief is nothing other than something that you think repetitively. Thoughts that you keep on thinking. A belief is nothing other than a repetitive thought. So we have to ask ourselves, where do we get our beliefs from? Where do you get your beliefs from? Most of the beliefs you have were just taught to you or told to you. The beliefs that many people have are just programmed and they don't even realize it. A lot of people have the inability to think for themselves. So what they end up doing is just hearing things and without much critical thinking, just adopting those beliefs. So again, going back to the point, we need to meditate. That's the first thing you need to do. Why? Because it's going to confront your ego. Once we're confronting our ego, what is happening is we're essentially disintegrating old patterns and old thought beliefs, okay? Once we're at that level of breaking through the ego, breaking through the old thought patterns and beliefs that are really no longer serving us, because the reality is the new, better version of you, the desired version of you, is going to have different thoughts, different feelings, different beliefs. That's just what it is. But your ego is going to constantly pull you back. It's going to constantly try to bring you back into what that comfort zone is, right? It's your job to stay aware of when you're reverting back to your old self. It's your job to stay aware when the old version of you is trying to persist while you and the new version of you is also fighting to manifest. But the more you're able to really mindfully control these thoughts, you'll build that momentum. After we're done meditating, confronting the ego, addressing our beliefs, then what you need to do is observe your surroundings. Observe your surroundings so that you can get clear on certain triggers, certain objects, certain people, the places, the overall surroundings and the environment that you're in is really important, because the reality is where you're at is where you've put yourself. Or maybe you're like, dude, what do you mean? I was just born here. Well, guess what? You have to now tap into your creativity. You are a conscious creator. So in every single moment, in every single second, you're always constructing and creating your life. Your life is like the content of, of your brain. So whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, that's ultimately going to show in the world. It's ultimately going to show in your outer world. Because as is within, as without. So whatever's going on within is going to change the outer world. You guys are over here looking at me. And that's another thing, bro. People are not going to really understand you as you start to turn into the better version of you. So that's really the third thing we could touch on here, is because, pause. As you start to evolve, as you start to change, as you start to become a better version of you, the old people in your life, the people who are familiar with the version of you that was previous, they're not going to really understand who you are, who you're becoming, or the things you're saying, or your thought patterns, or just the ultimate energy that you're starting to cultivate. So you have to kind of be able to block all that out, because if you don't, it's going to kill your momentum. They're going to bring you back. They're going to try to hold you down. They're going to try to pin you, pause. They're going to try to pin you back to where you were. But it's your job to elevate above that, vibrate above that, and manifest above that at a constant rate, as the people around you do their best to remind you of who you used to be, what you used to do, the way you used to see. It's your job to stay cognizant of the fact that, no, that's old you, that's the old version of you, but the new version of you is X, Y, and Z. Some people might not get it. They might not resonate with you. You might need to let them go. And that's really something that we need to talk about here. You're going to have to let go of certain things in your life that really don't resonate. Certain relationships, you might need to let them go. Family members, you might need to let them go or drift off a bit. Your old habits, maybe you're heavy into smoking or into drinking, or you pop pills, you sleep in. Whatever it is that the old version of you does and did, and it's not truly serving the greater version of you, you've got to let that go. Some of it might be a test. Some of it might be really challenging. And that's really what's going to happen. The universe is going to G-check you, Mike, because it's going to really see if you're about that life or not. We're talking about God. We're talking about the energy. We're talking about Christ consciousness. Don't you know that the devil, Satan, and Lucifer are all going to tempt you? They're all going to be working through different mediums, different people to try to infect you as you start to grow and build that momentum. And if you're not able to use proper discernment, you'll be fooled. If you're not able to use the proper judgment and the proper discernment, you're going to give in to the weak version, to the weak old version of you. But it's important that you stay strong so that you don't. It's important that you stay strong and that you work on building your mental fortitude, because we're effectively shedding our skin. That's what you're doing. You're shedding your skin, theoretically, right? You're shedding the old version of you, kind of like a snake. A snake sheds its skin to become a better version of itself. But if you're not willing to shed your skin and to let go of certain things and to remove certain things, dead weight, dead people, figuratively speaking, then you'll never really live the life that you want. So you're very much, and the truth is, your skin reproduces itself every X amount of days. Your skin develops a new layer. Just like these snakes, you have to be willing to shed the old version of you. This is a literal thing. You need to be able to shed your wardrobe. You need to start dressing like the version of you who you want to be. You need to start just carrying yourself in a way, moving in a certain way, operating in the way that the desired version of you would. Because there's no way you'll be able to manifest the desired version of you by operating in the same way as the person who you don't want to be does. That was a bar. Make sure you write that down. So going back to the point, you need to let go of certain things, circumstances, certain people, ideas, beliefs, etc., and be willing to shed the old version of you, shed that old lifestyle, so that you can bring manifestation to the forefront. And as you start to do that, more and more and more, you'll start to realize, especially if you stay tapped in, tuned in, and turned on with it, pause, the momentum starts to pick up. The momentum starts to build. Opportunities start flowing your way. Blessings start to come your way. Pause. and you'll realize new opportunities and doors begin to open. But with this new version of you comes a new level of responsibility, a new level of bravery, a new level of curiosity and courageousness that you ultimately need to use intellectually and intelligently. That's why it's really important for you to get really clear on who and what you want to be and have. You need to get crystal clear with the life that you want. Get crystal clear on the type of person that you want to be and the type of lifestyle that you're looking to accomplish and achieve. If you don't have the clear picture in your mind, then how will you know when you got there? If you don't have the clear picture of what you desire, then how will you know what you really want? So we need to really get clear on who and what we want in our life and what type of person we want to become, and then start acting as if. Your subconscious mind doesn't really know the difference between what's real or what's pretend. Your subconscious mind doesn't really understand the difference between reality or imagination. So start using your mental faculties. I was talking to somebody yesterday in reference to the Bible, and we were talking about suffering. We were talking about suffering, and we were talking about, opening your heart chakra. And we were talking about what it means to elevate above. So I'm gonna share this with you, and what it means to use the left and right side of your brain, because these are all important things that you weren't taught. So make sure you're taking notes. Make sure you're dropping those notes in the comments. You already know, because this is really important what I'm about to tell you. Life is full of suffering. You're going to be suffering every day, fam. I just need you to understand that. Every single day is going to be a battle, in a sense, right? And I'm not being dramatic, okay? But it even says this in the Bible: the more you suffer, the closer you get to God. And what I mean by this is that your life is not going to constantly be blissful and just sunny skies. There's going to be tests, there's going to be storms, there's going to be challenges and tribulations that you go through, especially as you start to evolve and become the best version of you. And that's often what stops your motivation. That's often what kills your momentum, is when these tests come, when the storms come, when storms hit, you don't want to go outside. You don't want to play anymore. You just want to go back to your little comfort zone. But the real savages, the real warriors, understand the principles of their mind. They understand the principles of the universe. So listen to what I'm about to tell you. Understand that you're going to suffer. Understand that it's going to be tough. Okay? But the more difficult things that you go through, the stronger you become. The more discipline you develop, and the more strength you develop overall. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, etc. If your life was just easy, you would not be able to. It's like getting a video game. It gets boring when you just keep playing the game on easy, right? It gets boring. Sure, there's a false ego to it. There's a false sense of accomplishment because it's super easy. But really, fam, you don't want your life to be easy. And getting to that next level, just like in most video games, it requires you to learn new skills, learn new talents, evolve, get better, level up, and its difficulty increases. This is the same thing about your life. But as you reach those goals and you reach those checkpoints, you're getting better. And it's okay if you end up, falling and kind of reverting sometimes, because that's what the checkpoints are for. Just remind yourself how far you've made it, how far you've actually made progress in this journey. Okay, maybe you start, boom, you hit a checkpoint, and then you go, and then you get knocked down, bow. But at least you have these mental notes, these mental checkpoints, these spiritual checkpoints in your being. That's how you maintain the momentum. Just because you fail and you make a mistake or whatever the case may be, doesn't mean you need to completely start over. And that's what so many of you do. It's you face one challenge, you face one objection, one rebuttal, even in sales, whatever you're trying to do, one rejection from a girl, one problem in life, and you just automatically get crushed and you start over. You start all the way from the beginning, forgetting about all the progress you made to get to that point. Pick up from where you left off. Because there's checkpoints in this game of life. Okay, and when you're doing this, understand that you need to start operating off the right hemisphere of your brain to an extent, because the right hemisphere of your brain is ultimately governed through, you know, emotional creativity and artistic imagination. But so many times we're trying to make sense of everything with our left brain. You're trying to make sense of everything. There's a story in the Bible where God, or there's people on a boat, right? And they're casting their nets over to the left side of the boat, trying to catch fish. No fish, no fish on the left side. Keep casting the net, no fish, no fish. Jesus or somebody on the boat, I forget exactly who it was, but God, ultimately, somebody led them and told them, hey, listen, throw that net to the right side of the boat. And as soon as they did that, there was more fish than they could even bring back on board. What does this mean interpretationally? What does this mean on a practical level for your life? So many people read these scriptures and these religious books, and they don't understand that a lot of it is just, you know, metaphorical or analogical or meant to be interpreted in a specific way. Not all of it is meant to be literal. But the point here is that when you tap into the right side of your brain, it's simple. It's like they told you, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Your right side of your brain is going to be able to keep you going when the outer world doesn't really match up with what you want, because the new version of you is going to be like, bro, what do you mean? And the old version of you is going to be like, what do you mean? You're going to be trying to make sense and logically figure things out. But that's where you need to stay into that dream state. That's where you need to stay in that creative state. That's where we stay at the possibility realm. Everything, look around you. Besides nature, everything was formed from the creative faculties of man or woman, right? We are always using our brain on a creative level, whether you know it or not, subconsciously or not. You're always imagining things and playing out scenarios in your brain. So you really have to tap into that the right side of your brain. Stop trying to find all these analytical reasons, because it's not going to make sense. How could somebody from the absolute bottom make it to the top? It doesn't really make sense. But that's where we get creative, okay? I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope this video helped you. If it did, make sure you drop some comments in the notes, and I'll catch you in the next one.